Grand. Okay, I'd like to just play a couple of tunes, band tunes from the north of Ireland, and the first one is The Dawn of Day, and then I'll follow that with Patrick's Day. I'm Dermot Rafferty, just released an album called The Green Bunch of Joy, which is a collection of tunes, harp tunes, band tunes, jigs and reels, and airs and laments from Armagh and Down. So here's the Dawn of Day and Patrick's Day.
God, jeez, that's beautiful, Dermot. It's a first for Custies to have someone playing a band flute. Will you explain the tradition of band flutes? And was it sectarian? Was it Catholic? Was it Protestant?
It was just very, very popular throughout Ulster. So it was popular with both traditions, and as I say, both sides of the house played flutes. These tunes come from the nationalist tradition, played by Ballyholland Foresters Flute Band. And at the turn of the 19th century, there would have been a lot of flute bands on the nationalist side. Most of those have just fallen by the wayside. You get a lot more flute bands in the Orange tradition now, so it's much more common in that tradition than in ours.
Yeah, what I remarked there, just listening to you, some of the octaves you're playing, and like it's Jesus, some of the higher end octave kind of stuff. It's unbelievable how you can get that high and how you can hold it.
Yeah, I mean, in traditional music, people tend to use the bottom 2 octaves, but in band flutes, you use the second and the third octave. You wouldn't use the bottom octave because the sound it doesn't carry. What you want to do is you want to get the sound carrying for several miles, so people can hear it all around.
Sure. And how many would have been in a bona fide marching band? How many flutes would you have had in that band?
You'd probably have 20 or 30 flutes.
Oh, Jesus.
And then drums as well. You'd have a bass drum and a range of drums, and the flutes would tend to play harmonies.
Yeah.
So it'd be like a melody band. They'd have B flat flutes.
Sure.
A second flute. They'll play a harmony, and then you'd have F flutes below that. So you'd be playing 3-4 part harmony.
Wow.
Sometimes they'd have a piccolo up above that, and then later on they'd introduce a low B flat flute.
Jeez, lovely and rich.
So it was a very, very full sound.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you'd only hear those sorts of bands in the Orange tradition. But I mean, they were playing to a high standard. They were practicing a couple of nights a week, and they'd have a repertoire that they'd march to about 30 or 40 tunes.
Yeah.
And they might march for 10 miles.
And was there a certain kind of a social class of people that played band music, or was it spread out over we'll say the caste system back then, the different socio-economic groups?
It would tend to have been, I suppose, people in the country, farmers and quarrymen. So the Ballyholland Flute Band, many of them worked in the quarry, were stonemasons, and it was their way of relaxing. You know, sure. They didn't really have many other outlets, so the band was a big
sure.
part of the social fabric.
All right.
People would go and play.
Yeah, lovely. I see from your album too that there's some very rare collections that we haven't heard of, like a Donlan and McGahan collection.
Yeah.
Will you tell me more about that?
No, those were two collectors who collected tunes. Donlan in the sort of the 19th century, the sort of late 20th century, and Patrick McGahan was collecting tunes about 1817 or 1813, sometime in that era.
Yeah, and very rosy names on one jig that I noticed. On the album.
No, it was If Ever I Marry I'm a Son of a Her.
And you have a background on that?
It's just a tune, I just like the name of it. So
okay.
But I also play, I mean, there's a lot of, in that area, a lot of sort of dances were popular, like set dances and barn dances were very, very popular. So the album's got a collection of dances and some slower tunes. Is a queening lament from South Armagh.
Sure, right. A queening as in a funeral lament.
Queening as a funeral lament. It was collected by Edward Bunting from Queen.
All right, lovely.
So I do an interpretation of that.
Great. Okay, and you're the next generation plays with you. Your daughter is on a track.
My daughter, she's playing the band flute with me.
Right.
So
that's on the last track, is it?
It's the second to last.
Second last, yeah. Okay. And you also have a famous fiddler, a friend of yours from the past.
Seamus Sands, yeah, who's a great fiddle player from the Sands family, and I know Seamus a long time. He lives in Cork now, but I got together with Seamus, and I decided to record some tunes. So we just went down to Seamus's house and took a microphone down and recorded over the weekend, and just got on with it. Recorded at home.
Great. Listen, we might see you here in November at the November and Stradfest.
I hope so, yeah. I hope to make it over this time.
Wouldn't it be an amazing feature if you could organise for some festival here a full band, a flute band?
Well, I've probably got enough flute players in my family to get a band, but I have to rouse them to get them interested.
All right, okay.
See if we can get a sound together.
Lovely. Well, geez, it's some amazing sound. That's only one flute. Imagine 16 flutes or more.
30.
My God. Okay, we'll have it sometime. Dermot, thanks a lot for coming in, and thrilled to have talked to you.
Thanks a lot.
And to be educated.
That's great.
Okay.
Okay, good man.